So basically, Monday night football season, you know the time, views from the 22, live on the scene. We here. This is Monday night football preview. Talk a little bit about the games from yesterday. Vic, what's going on, bro? How's everything going, man?
And not much, busy day working, but ready to relax, watch a little bit of football. Um, Titans, Bills today. An outstanding Bills football team. Yesterday was pretty intriguing as well, man. This whole football season has been very fascinating. Some of the storylines and stuff like that has been going on. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Absolutely. So Mo Schefter may be joining us. We'll see what happens. Vic is gonna keep an eye on the comments for anything that you guys want to talk about. Obviously, in the comments. First and
Right.
foremost, man, we just gonna go ahead and just do a brief little, talk about some of the games and the week we just had in football here. Um, going into this week, we had a lot of things, a lot of things going on. Obviously, with the NFL year, we got things like coming off of some of the big performances that we seen in week 5. Obviously, we started off with the Bucks and the Eagles, with the Bucks winning that game and everything like that. The Jags getting their first win. So Vic, let's start there. Jags get their first win. Um, one of my friends, Colton, he's a big Dolphins fan. He was very upset with the way that game came out at the end. I watched it. I was a little intrigued by the fact that it seems to me that the Dolphins are on the right track, but it seems that they've drafted some of the wrong players and some of the wrong positions. And moving forward, as we look at this organization, what are some things that the Dolphins? We're talking about a year removed from being one game out of being in the playoffs.
Right.
What are some things that we're looking at with this particular team that moving in the future, you kind of wasted a lot of your draft assets at this stage because you're kind of running out of them now. Vic, what's some of your thoughts on the Dolphins organization right now, man?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I looked at that that class in which they had the 3 first-round picks. Austin Jackson was a guy that we really liked coming out of that draft, but he's had some inconsistencies with his game. Then they had the corner, which I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce his name. And then you got Tua, the quarterback, 5th overall that they drafted. So man, that's 3 first-round picks, which is something rare you see in the first place. It's for a team to get 3 first-round picks in 1 year. But for you to possibly have to move on from those guys in a couple of years, within 5 years, you don't know if you're gonna get a second contract out of them. Because that's one of the ways in the NFL where you're able to gauge if you're drafting well is if those guys sign to a second contract, right? So you draft your own guys, you develop your own guys, and so Tua right now, man, I don't know. We had our questions before the draft. It is what it is now. I don't know that game they had no rhythm in that game, man, and in Jacksonville, the team that struggles to rush the passer, they were able to get some pressure on Tua. And another side note off of that, man, those are 2 Florida teams that were playing the game in London. I don't know, this London early in the morning thing. It's just another way for the NFL to keep, trying to expand and make that money. But it would have been nice if that game was here in Florida, man. But it is what it is. 2 teams that are struggling right now. Like you said, the Dolphins are regressing, unfortunately.
So the other thing that we're going to briefly go through some of the other games too. Obviously the Vikings, an OT thriller over the Panthers. Bro, there was a point in that game where it was the early part of the fourth quarter where Sam Darnold had 94 yards passing. I don't know what else to say at this point, bro. They had no business being in that game. Vikings are the most roller coaster organization to go right along with everybody else when it comes down to I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
But they pull out the victory nonetheless with everything else. Now Carolina's starting to come back to life. So
As in,
I think as the competition and as we get more opportunities to see this team, we're starting to see where the flaws are.
mm-hmm.
And one thing that I noticed is the quarterback is still the same. He still got jet lag. It is what it is. So where can the Carolina Panthers go from here?
I mean, listen, bro, again, Sam Darnold, another guy that you and I we weren't very high on his draft class. I don't even remember what year it was. I don't know, 16 or 17 already.
It
I
was
think
it was it was 18.
yeah, I mean, he's in he's with the Baker
Mm-hmm.
uh, draft. 4 years in already, 5 years in, whatever they are in. Um, I mean, 17 for 41, bro. Like 17 completions out of 41 attempts is kind of, I want to see the recap on that game. I didn't get to really see it, but obviously the Vikings, like you said, a team that we talked about how much they tease. When I see a quarterback only have 17 completions out of 41 attempts, you would think that the other team is winning by a lot more, and they ended up going to overtime. But I mean, again, the Panthers have a young defense. We talked about it. They got some weapons on offense. Despite Christian McCaffrey not able to stay on the field, which I have concerns of now. They got DJ Moore. They got what was the other kid here? They got Terrence. Was it? Oh, Terrence Marshall,
Mm-hmm.
who is up and coming player there too. They got Robbie Anderson. They got some tight ends to play with. It's going to be the quarterback again, bro, for this team. We got the Dolphins that need a quarterback, and in my opinion, and we got the Panthers that are going to need a quarterback. Bradford is Mo's guy. Mo's not here yet to defend him, but I don't see him being long term. It was a matter of time. Dalvin Cook had 140 yards on these guys. I mean, he was running loose, and so did the Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys. So young defense, but they obviously still got some work to do there too.
All right. Most disappointing game on the docket was obviously the Chargers and the Ravens. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think it was anything about that game that showed me much bad when it came to. It didn't show me much about the Ravens. It just showed me more about the Chargers. As far as defense goes, they have the pieces to make any team have to play.
Yeah.
The personnel just does. It just didn't mesh well this game for whatever reason. I don't want to say it's just this game. Baltimore ran the ball at will. That's something too that we got to talk about. They ran the ball at will. They ran for over 200 yards in this game, or right around 200 yards. So that's something that as we move forward and we move forward in the season, especially if Baltimore is going to run for 200 yards, not a lot of teams are going to beat them.
Nope.
It just looked like the playmakers. They just came out flat.
Yeah, they had about around 190 yards rushing. As I look at the box score here, 3 total touchdowns in terms of the rushing. Lamar was 19 for 27, 167 yards. Nothing big there. 2 interceptions. The thing is that I've been seeing, and we talked about it, amongst ourselves, is it looks like a lot of teams are playing zone coverage against them. They're afraid to have their players turn their back against them, because when you play man coverage, you're going to turn your back to the quarterback. As you're trying to stay with your guy. So your assignment. So are these teams afraid that he's just going to take off and run for a lot of yards? In my opinion, First of all, I don't know why you're not mixing up coverages to confuse him. But second, I'd rather have him run if he's going to beat you with Mark Andrews basically cutting across the field every play and finding his own, Lamar deserves respect because he's gotten better as a passer. He looks comfortable in the system. He looks like he controls the system that their passing game and stuff like that. So he's making the passes, especially in the middle of the field. But I mean, somehow, some of these defenses are going to catch up, and we'll see We thought it was going to start with the Chargers. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened in terms of what their scheme was, but again, too much zone coverage against Lamar, not enough mixing up to confuse him.
Got you. All right. We're going to move on from there. There was a lot of blowouts this week. Rams, Giants. Rams took care of business 38-11. Colts took care of business 31-3. Chiefs took care of business in Washington 31-13. The Cardinals destroyed the Browns 37-14. Bengals took care of business with the Lions 34-11. The Raiders took care of business with the Broncos 34-24, which that score is still not indicative of how much they dominated that game. Packers beat the Bears. Sheesh. Cowboys Patriots was a thriller. It went down to the last possession, obviously. Look, man, the Cowboys they're a good team. It is what it is. The Patriots are going to be in every game. That it is what it is. Yeah. Call it what you want. But the one thing that I do want people to understand is that this is not a situation. This is more about the Patriots right now than it is the Cowboys. When we talk about the Patriots are just not, they're not there yet. Right. These are games that they probably win normally if they had the other quarterback. Mac Jones threw a pick 6 in this game to a player who right now is just in a zone. Shout out to Trayvon Diggs for the way he's playing football right now, but
his awareness is elite. His awareness is elite. His hands is elite right now for as a DB. Ball tracking, we talk about that stuff. DBs are DBs for a reason. They don't track the ball like receivers can. But when you have a guy that's special enough to have that kind of awareness to track the ball and stuff like that, and just a magnet, just seems like they're a magnet to it. Jair Alexander is an example of this. Green Bay's number one corner. These are guys that are just gonna get those type of turnovers. Trayvon right now. Hey, listen, it went off of the receiver's hands. It was a little bit, the receiver had to stretch out a little bit more. Mac Jones, probably wishes he would have had a little bit tighter of a pass there for him, but you can't test Trayvon Diggs right now, man, because his awareness is elite, dude, and he's gonna get his hands on every football.
So we have the Steelers and the Seahawks in the night. I see a lot of things going on. A lot of people are saying different things about Jamal Adams and dropping the interception that could have ended the game and all this other stuff. Bro, stuff like this happens. He's still a DB at the end of the day. You're asking a dude that he's not there to get interceptions. Y'all think of coverage. Y'all think a safety and a corner are all the only thing that they're measured by is interceptions. He's not there to be a player that intercepts passes. He's there to be an enforcer in the run game. He's there to do different things, cover tight ends. He's there for other purposes. He's not there to be the deep coverage safety. And that's never been his skill set. But y'all would notice if y'all watched him. Y'all would notice if y'all understood it. The Jets aren't a better defense without him. Let's start right there. You don't lose 70 tackles, 6 sacks, and 2 interceptions a year or an interception a year and then say that you're a better defense because he still has other things that he does well. We're talking about a guy who is the best at his position. It's not, you can't argue and say that there's a better strong safety. If you bring up a strong safety, Jamal Adams is the best one in football right now.
Yes. He's in the box. He's an in the box. He's an in the box safety. They held Najee Harris to 84 yards on 24 carries. That was about 3.4. 24 carries, 81 yards, 3.4 yards a carry. They basically didn't run the ball much off of him. So Jamal was in the box a lot. He helped contain the run, which is basically the Steelers' strength at this stage. Despite Ben throwing the ball 40 times, so he's in the box, and that's he is. He's there to go downhill. We talked about it before. He's not a guy that you want necessarily to be covering where he has to turn his body and track the ball in the air. Again, he's a DB. He's a safety, strong safety at that. So, it's just understanding the positions, understanding the roles, and then understanding why he don't produce. Why he doesn't have interceptions. Now he has 0 interceptions, Germ, but in the last 3 seasons he has like 18 sacks. Who knows how many tackles for loss he has? So that's where his impact is. And who else is better than him at strong safety right now? Can you name any?
We're talking about some guys like Derwin James and people like that. We're talking about people like Honey Badger. And I think what Honey Badger does is good, but I don't think he's better right now than Jamal Adams from a perspective of where Jamal Adams is as he's elite in. And everything he does elite except for get interceptions, which that's not the measure of a great safety.
Yeah, Honey Badger is used differently. Correct. He's there to he's there to cover running backs out of the backfield. He's there to cover tight ends out of the backfield. He's there to play some robber techniques, right? Cover the middle of the field for any horizontal routes, any routes coming across the field. He's used in a lot more spots, a lot more roles than you will see for Jamal Adams. So, like you said, Derwin James, Jamal Adams, probably your 2 best strong safeties in the league right now. Again, there's 32 teams, man. There's 32 teams. Can you find me 32 in the box strong safeties like Jamal Adams? You can't. So that's that.
Yep. So with that being said, Pittsburgh moves to 3-3. AFC North right now, currently, we have 2 3-3 teams, a 4-2 team, and a 5-1 team. Baltimore leads the division currently. They play number 2 Cincinnati next week. That's going to be a game we will talk about extensively on Views and Dues on next week on Sunday. So don't worry, be tuned in for that. The Browns
you
are
sure,
in a situation.
You sure it's not going to sneak up on us on a Thursday game or something?
No, the Thursday game this week is Cleveland and somebody. So
Cleveland is playing on Thursday.
Yeah, Cleveland's playing on Thursday with 20 people on injured reserve, or 20 people that could be injured and not playing.
They might be without the quarterback too.
Yeah, basically.
Put it out. Okay.
Yeah. So with that being said, it is what it is. Moving forward, as we go to as it turns, as it gets ready to turn 8:05, we're gonna use the last 10 minutes on the game. Obviously, we got the Titans, and we have oh God.
Ham said we watching basketball on Thursday. It's gonna be the Browns against the Broncos. So what a 3-4 Cleveland team. That was my number one. That was my number one team for that division, man. 3-4 is a possibility.
They got time to finish. They have time to finish strong. That's what I'll say. Get healthy and finish strong. That's what you want to do. So Titans Bills. This is a big game. This is not a big game for the Bills. This is a big game for the Titans. Why is it a big game for the Titans? Because this is one of the better defenses that you're going to face. We just got to call it what it is. This Bills defense has played lights out this season. They play very well. To be honest, the Bills could be 6-0. That loss in Pittsburgh looks like it was more of a loss it looks like a fluke more than it looks like anything else. They beat the defending AFC champions soundly. The first loss for the Kansas City Chiefs in an AFC championship game or less by more than one possession since Pat Mahomes has been the quarterback.
And then the good thing about it, or at least for the Bills' perspective, is they've been able to contain Derrick Henry as much as they can too. In 3 games, he has 190 yards, 3 touchdowns, but in 50 carries, that's good for about 3.8 yards a carry. He has 3 touchdowns, in which 2 of them came against them last year. So for the most part, they've been able to contain this offense for the Titans. So this is a tough matchup for the Titans, man, because the Bills have been outstanding Defensively, they have 2 shutouts this season, which is already in 5 weeks, which is something that's basically unheard of in this era of the NFL. So this is a tough matchup. This is a really tough matchup because they got speed, they got strength everywhere, especially those safeties. Man, those safeties are outstanding. Can you plug in the charge real quick?
Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. Those are your modern day NFL safeties, Vic. Modern day NFL safeties. They just do everything well. If you need them to cover, that's where they at. If you need them to be in the box, that's where they at. They're the most versatile bunch that we have right now in the league, and it shows. So moving forward, I will say that moving forward, like this Bills defense is very, very good on all 3 levels. Also, the Bills do something else, which we got to talk about. They play special teams. And special teams is also another thing that I think Tennessee is very, very susceptible in as well. So I'm interested to see if defense and special teams dominate this game, because if that happens, there's no way Tennessee wins this game. Also, Vic, I don't know what the Titans are going to do. I don't know what the Titans are going to do for 2 reasons. Number one, you're giving up way more yards this year, and these last couple of seasons, you've been giving up more yards than you've intended to. This is probably the first game that I actually see on the schedule that I say, "Hey, Derrick Henry's not getting 100 yards tonight."
They basically depend on that.
And that's going to be the key tonight. Can Ryan Tannehill give them something else to be able to work against here? Because it's not looking too good for the home team here.
Yeah.
Not looking too good.
I mean, the Bills have came from a very emotionally draining, impressive win against Kansas City. This is a team that has owned them. And they were able to win that game. So can they have a little bit of a letdown? Can this be a little bit of a trap game where, the Titans, all of a sudden you got Derrick Henry for 210 and 2 or 3 touchdowns this week,
Not tonight.
I don't know. I must have the worst record this year amongst us in terms of picking games. Because, oh my God, I've been kind of off. I'm going to speak for myself. I know that MJ, shout out to MJ. He's probably leading us right now in terms of
he's leading us in picks right now. I beat him by 1 game this week, so we slowly but surely we got to bring it back. Because MJ gonna try to run away with things, and we ain't doing that.
Yeah.
No, we ain't doing that.
Yeah.
He's about to run away from me.
I mean, the Bills should be able to win this game, dog. It's just, flat out, they should be able to win this game at least by a touchdown. I'm taking, come on, Stephon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, and those guys against these Titans cornerbacks who have been just, borderline awful. They should be, Josh should be able to have a field day in this game. The run offense, the rush offense for the Bills have gotten better. They're blocking better. The Bills are giving up 78 yards rushing this year only.
And
that's good for number one. That's good for number 1 in the NFL right now. So,
and if you do the small things, which is stop teams from being able to run the football, especially a team like this, you're going to be in position to win. You have the better quarterback, you have the better team, you have the better defense. It is what it is right now.
Is it a trap?
Derrick Henry will not rush for 100 yards tonight. Y'all can book that.
Is that a bold prediction, or
that's
is that
that's just, it's not a prediction.
You're comfortable.
It's a spoiler. So with that being said, no 100 yards for Derrick Henry tonight. He's gonna have a tough night running because Milano and Trayvon Edmonds will be there. This is the first time he's gonna see linebackers that are that big too.
So do you think? So you think? I haven't been able to watch, but you think Tremaine has gotten better as a linebacker because he's kind of
Yes, I think the
slowly on his
plays.
progression.
It's some plays there that you'll see like from last week. You know, with the way he's able to diagnose the things that are going on in front of him that have shown
A little bit
he's getting
quicker.
better in that. Yes, and that's
Read,
something that I've
react,
seen.
finish.
Yes, he's done that a lot better. When it comes down to this year in general, just in general. So I think he's getting better. Milano is he's just a solid player, man.
Yeah, I
Just
mean
as steady as they
that's
go.
yeah. That's a
You
winning
know.
linebacker. Somebody you want on your football team right there. I mean, feisty. Doesn't
Mhm.
have elite traits, but smart. Smart.
Yeah. And
Smart.
that's the key to being able to contain Derrick Henry.
Right.
You have to be able to get into his rushing lanes, and you stop his feet early. Get him to go lateral again. Instead of allowing him to go vertical, make him go horizontal.
Mm.
That's how you stop Derrick Henry. Get in his lanes, make him go horizontal, and everything else like that, and you'll be
Right.
able to contain him. And
Once
that's
he
what you'll
catches,
notice.
yeah, once he catches that speed downhill, is a wrap for you. You know what I mean? So like you said, play, gap discipline basically, making sure he sees a white jersey or whatever color they're gonna be wearing today. Um, make sure he sees the opponent's jersey in every single gap. And like Jerm said, if he has to move horizontally, then you're able to trip him up a little bit, not let him get started around the edges and stuff like that. So it should be fun. Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde are also going to be involved in that aspect of the game too. So it should be fun, man, because they could leave these corners against those receivers one-on-one if they wanted to.
Yep, they can.
I mean, AJ Brown, no disrespect to AJ and Julio, but I don't even know if they're fully healthy right now. So
I don't think Julio's playing tonight.
wow.
So, at the end of the day, it is what it is. So prediction, I'm rolling with the Bills tonight. I don't really think it's really too much else that needs to be said about it. I think the Bills should be able to get the job done. Go ahead and get this victory. Take your spot as, one of the couple of teams in the AFC with just one loss. Continue to build on the success that you're having. Again, this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 17-game season. You just want to be playing your best football late in the year. Not at the beginning, but you want to be playing your best football in December going to January. Keep building every week, and you'll be right there. Pick who you got.
I'm going to go with the Bills, man. Shouldn't be that hard, but the way football been going, I wouldn't be surprised. Titans come out fighting today. AJ Brown is playing tonight. Shout out to Trav for that information. He's going to need to catch about 10 balls today, man. Keep them in this game.
So with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. We're going to let you guys enjoy the game. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Again, that's Vic Jr. I'm Germ So True. Scene represented. We are here. Make sure you guys are ready because we got a bunch of stuff coming up for you guys moving forward. NBA starts tomorrow, obviously, so we're going to have a lot of good stuff going. We got a preview show that's getting ready to drop for you guys to check out and get ready for the season. And most importantly, man, make sure you guys are tuned in for the baseball show coming up this week. We got a lot of stuff coming from the dish for you guys. I call it the baseball show, because it is the best one out there, the dish. Make sure you guys are tuned in and get some of these reactions. With that being said, I'm going to take us home. 22, we out. We see y'all next time.